it's Jennifer here from Belladonna's Botanicals, and this is the second video from the Nuctemeron Pathworking. And in this one, we will be opening the second gate. But before we do that, since I just opened the first gate, if you watched the previous video, we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to give you some background information, what I've worked with so far. So this, the Nuctemeron gate opening pathworking is something S. Conley is doing through her Patreon. So I was like, well, hey, I never did this before. Sounds like fun. So each month you will do an ascension session, which the word how she uses ascension is basically like working in the astral realm, that sort of thing. A divination session. I usually do just direct channeling for that. A sigil creation, the artifact, ritual, and then the write-up. So we have, for the month of February, we have Sisera, the genius of desire. And her N is Renish ma ke vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. So, the Nuctemeron of Apollonius of Tiana. So the second hour, by the binary, the fishes of the zodiac sign sing the praise of God, and that's take that word God. The snakes of the fire intertwine around Hermes' staff, and the thunder becomes harmonious. So, sorry for all the page flipping. So from Eliphas Levi's Transcendental Magic, it goes a little more into depth about the Nuctemeron. So for now, in this translation, the second hour is by the duad. The zodiacal fish chant the praises of God. The fiery serpents interlace about the caduceus, and the lightning becomes harmonious. So. In the first video, I go over a little more in depth of the explanation of how each one of the gates, I don't want to keep repeating it, but how each one leads into the other. So moving on to the genie of the second hour, we have Sisera, who is the genie of desire, Torvatus, the genius of discord, Nitibus, genius of the stars, Hizarbin, genius of the seas, Saklup, genius of plants, Baglis, genius of measure and balance, and Labazirin, genius of success. And the explanation is, we must learn how to will and thus transform the genius of desire into power. The hindrance to will is the genius of discord, who is bound by the science of harmony. Harmony is the genius of the stars and of the seas. We must study the virtue of plants and understand the laws of balance, measure in order to attain success. So it's sort of like each one of these, there's like a transition. Oh, there's more information. Sorry. I didn't realize there was. So there's also, I don't know if I covered this in the first book or in the first video, this is also from Levi's Transcendental Magic, there's the Nuctemeron, according to the Hebrews, extracted from the ancient Talmud. So what does this say? The Nuctemeron of Apollonius, borrowed from the Greek theurgy, completed and explained by the Assyrian hierarchy of genii, perfectly corresponds to the philosophy of numbers, and we find expounded the most curious pages of the Talmud. Thus the Pythagoreans go back further with Pythagoras, thus the genesis of a magnificent allegory, which under the form of a narrative conceals the secrets not only to the creation achieved of the old, but the permanent and universal creation and the eternal generation of beings. So it goes on a little bit more to talk about that. So in the explanation here, So for the first hour, God combines the scattered fragments of earth. He kneads them together and forms one mass, which it is his will to animate. The explanation is man is the synthesis of the created world. In him recurs the creative unity. He is made in the image and likeness of God. So now we're for the second hour. God designs the form of the body. He separates it into two sections so that the organs may be double for all force and all life result from two. And it is thus the Elohim made all things. Explanation. Everything lives by movement. Everything is maintained by equilibrium. And harmony results from the analogy of contraries. This is the law. This law is the form of forms, the first manifestation of the activity of the fecundity of God. That's all I have in this one. Oh, so, and as this is from S. Conley's work now, so just a little bit. This invocation is clearly bringing wisdom, desire, and magic into alignment. So if the first invocation taps into the divine source and comes from a place of love, connection, and harmony, the second invocation brings our intent to the divine source. Think of desire not just as sexual desire, but motivation, drive, passion for whatever inspires you. This could be anything from passion, a hobby, career, to passion for another person, or passion in your own great work. So, and if you're interested in doing the Nuctemeron Pathworking, this is her book. So the first hour is associated with the zodiac sign of Aquarius. The second hour is Pisces. So now we're back to my note stuff from my ascension, divination, and preparation for this. So we have Sisera, who's the genie of desire. Mentioned the N. It's Veni Shma Ke Vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. It's associated with Pisces, including water and fire elements. Water would be evoked to the north or west, coupled with fire to the, or you could, if you want to couple it with fire, you could do southwest. So the invocation is bringing wisdom and desire and something into alignment. Magic is the word. Into alignment, coming from a place of love, connection, and harmony. Desire, drive, passion, motivation in any aspect. So we already went through that and that part. So this is from the Ascension session that I did. Sisera experienced so she experienced so much in the same way that Haven wanted to experience the internalized working of how I experience music, like the feelings and the emotions and the memories and everything that comes up. I couldn't physically go and put music on. I had to listen to the music inside my body, inside my head, and react to it from within. So Sisera kind of took a similar approach in that she wanted to experience the personal inner workings of what I desire. So that was something like I had to draw up and kind of conjure from within the ascension state the things I desire. Like, what is it? Like, what do I want? Like, I know what it was. It kept coming through in the way from the TV show Lucifer. What is it you truly desire? So it was kind of it kind of was coming through in that way. But thinking about it, like, what do you desire? Is desire only sexual or romantic? It's like looking at contextually how we use the word desire. There's a longing to it in a way. Like for me, at least, that's what I feel like when I desire something or someone. Like there's a longing for it. There's a deep connection and a passion. But if I desire, a midnight snack, that's a little bit different. Or if I desire to live a life of luxury and financial freedom. That's different than the desire I feel towards a romantic interest or something like that. So, one of the interesting things that came through, and I think I'm going to be working with this a little bit more in depth. I made a note on my phone at some point, and this is why I remember it. It was the expression bloodline demonopathy. And what Sisera explained was all blood offerings pool in Lilith's lake of blood, like a circuit board that connects to the abyss. So this was something when I first started working with Lilith, maybe about 4 years ago at this point. It's sort of like in Lilith's realm, there's this sort of lake of blood, and there's this little narrow passageway that goes to sort of like, so it's kind of like an hourglass shape that goes to like the abyss. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. So blood is the conduit for communication. Some DNA bloodlines allow for demonopathy, a type of telepathic, intuitive communication with the demonic, divine, and spirit world. So I think what that was, what the meaning in that is, some people have a more genetic predilection towards spirit communication, especially working within, the demonic divine realm. Like for me personally, this makes sense that this would be something to be relevant to me, because these entities and spirits have been coming to me since I was like a teenager, long before I ever like dabbled in the dark side of magic and demonology and stuff like that. So I have, I have a naturally attuned ability since I was a child. Like I always felt like I lived between the worlds, that like there was a lot of like premonitions of things happening, like getting a flash of something happening and then it happening, or dreaming about it. There's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Premonition, prophecy, prophetic dreams, that sort of thing. That's happened to me my entire life. Like I wish someone explained to me as a child so I wasn't freaked the fuck out all the time of like, holy crap, I dreamt about a plane crash the other night, and oh look, there's a plane crash that mimicked the exact same dream I had. Weird. So anyways, that's something I really want to explore much more in depth, because I'm really fascinated by this concept of bloodline demonopathy. So outside of that, Sisera showed me the gates. Each come together to form a circle in the desert, as Haven showed me. In the liminal space between the gates, you open up the energetic portal to channel the energy of the universe. So imagine something that exists and doesn't exist. So it's sort of like there's you have a circle. So let's just use Stonehenge as a visual representation. So imagine you have the 12 stones on the outside. Each one of them opens a gate. So in the center is this sort of like energetic, like column of energy. And that's, once you open all the gates, that's what you have access to. That the light of the universe, the energy of the universe, the God, energy, sort of essence that they speak of. So, as far as how Sisera appeared as a gorgeous fiery redhead, think like a magical Jessica Rabbit / belly dancer, just absolutely beautiful. But what was interesting is the colors. Like with Haven, everything was very blue. With Sisera, everything's very red. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to translate through the other Genie of the Gates. So Sisera shared the sigil with me. I did my best to recreate it. So that is this right here. And that's what we're going to be using for the artifact. So much like the Haven artifact, we will be doing, we'll be using the mirror as well. And this time we are using a garnet pebble, and we're going to be using some carnelian. And the reason for that is both garnet and carnelian, for me, I would connect with desire. that kind of is the link between the root sacral chakra and then through the heart. That's why I picked those stones. Okay. And then we have 2 a.m. yet. What time it is? Yeah, getting there. Have a little bit of downtime in between. So, like the first gate was opened at 1 a.m., or you can do 1 p.m. as well. The second gate will be opened at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. I'm going to do 2 a.m. since hopefully I could stay awake for another half an hour. So this is going to be sort of similar in a way to the first gate. So yeah, we're going to create the artifact as a beacon and symbolic link to the second gate. The invocation, we're going to use the An, Rani, Shma, Ke, Vino, come forth, rise, come forth, Sisera. And then go on, Sisera, I call to you to open the second gate in the physical realm to connect with the ascension gate. And if I didn't mention that, like Haven did, she opened the ascension gate there. So we're just linking the two. And we will place the artifact in the altar. You can either use red or black candles. We use black candles since they're still burning. We'll repeat the end and draw on Sisera's essence of desire. Give thanks, license to depart, close the gate. So after this part, I'm going to do the gate closing, or we're going to do the fumication. We're going to recite the incantation in the name of Satan and Lucifer. I banish all back from whence it came. Go in peace. And then we will fuse and patch the gate and recite the Lucifer and Satan ends. So that's suddenly really tired. I'm starting to look a little derpy. So anyways, this is all starting to make more sense to me now. The Djinn are interesting to work with. I'm having, from what I thought the Djinn would be like to work with to actually working with the Djinn is very different. I noted Asmodeus is kind of overseeing the whole thing. Like he's not really directly involved or doing much. He's just kind of there in a managerial role, let's say. The way I would describe the energy of working with the Djinn is just like it's very earthbound in a way, but it's also like the ability to bilocate or whatever. So it's kind of like it's earthbound in a way, but it is somewhere else that I don't even understand at this point. So yeah, I think this has been a really fascinating it's been a really fascinating journey to work through this particular path working. It's been a lot of path working for me so far this year. I'm working on the Goetia path working and the Nuctemeron path working, and at some point I will try to find time to do the Decante path working, but there's only so many hours in the day. But hey, you guys get some awesome video content out of it. Hello and welcome back. We are now ready for the ritual, the artifact creation and the ritual part of it. So I had to shift to the side because Moon decided to come sit on my floor pillow. I don't know if you can see her. Here's a little Miss Moon. Floor pillows have been sitting here since I moved in, and this is like the first time I've seen her laying on them. They used to lay on them a lot at my old house, so she doesn't really seem to have any interest in moving. And now we have a Corey. Hi, buddy. Do you want to say hello? Because everyone loves Corey. Corey says hello. Hi. You're so cute. All right, mommy's got to go do stuff. Ow. Hi, Moon. You're kind of in the way. Hi, Corey. You're kind of, all right, now you're not in the way. All right. Let me readjust myself here so now I can do things better since cats moved. So we're going to be doing the artifact creation like we did for the first gate for Haven. So we will be doing the mirror sigil with garnets and carnelian. I am using red paint for this one since she came through very red. Let's look at the sigil. Yeah. Yeah. One, two, three, and then a squiggle. Oh, there we go. Touch this up a little. The paint, it doesn't come through very well on the first try, so I'm going to kind of fill this in, make it a little nicer looking, because right now it just looks like smeared lipstick. Not that I really wear red lipstick like this, but it's interesting too. Some paint, certain paint colors, depending upon their composition, are sometimes a little more, some are more opaque, some are more translucent. I feel like this one might take a couple layers. I'm using a very tiny brush, so. But it's also, yeah. So we have our sigil. Sorry for the blindiness of my ring light. We are going to affix the crystals in the corner like we did for the first one. I'm putting the carnelian in the corner. Let's see what we've got with this crystal. This one crystal is kind of a weird shape, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the. Right, that's the flattest. I'm trying to get the flattest side of the crystal. There. Sometimes they're not super flat. Stop sliding. Garnet. Here. Squiggle space. All right. I'll hold it up after it's taken some time to affix, but we have our stuff there. So I'm going to put this here. Ostensibly, what I'm working towards with the artifacts for this is kind of creating something that I can, kind of pull out or create something to display with. Like, I'm trying to think of how it'd be interesting to kind of do like a grid of mirrors to make like a permanent one once I'm like in some place that I'm not renting. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to do the gate opening part. I'm getting a little tired, so it's always that ritual thing of like I'm tired, but I'm also like in that heady kind of space when we do ritual. Like I feel like I could just spontaneous astral travel at this point, like just fly out of body. Anyways, I'll be back soon. Some incense. Much to my horror, I've been really digging strawberry incense lately. I discovered in old journals that I used to burn strawberry incense in high school, and I was just like, ew, why would I do strawberry incense? But like I had one of those like assorted packs and it had some strawberry incense in it. And I'm like, this isn't terrible. It doesn't really smell like strawberries, but not terrible. Cheers. Relish. Ma che vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ma che vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ma che vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ma che vino, rise, come forth, Sisera. Sisera, call to you to open the second gate in the physical realm to connect with the ascension gate. I place this artifact on the altar as a key and beacon for the second gate. Rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ke ma evina. Rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ma kevina. Rise, come forth, Sisera. Renish ma kevina. Rise, come forth, Sisera. Interesting. I kind of got like a heat, a hot feeling on my upper back, which is interesting because a lot of times when like I get like spirit contact, it's a cold, like ice cold chill down the spine. This is different. That it's warmth. Um, like warmth of the. I really need to take my sweater off. Now I'm local. Um, no, control Cesare. The only essence of this eye. All right, this is coming forth. So with Haven, it was like a blue kind of tornadic vortex. This one is like it's like a flat vortex. Like okay, like on the planet Jupiter, you know how there's that one area that's like a storm. I think it's kind of like that. It's like a very flat like motion. It's very red and orange, fiery. Yeah, I just keep feeling like the warmth. It almost feels like a hot flash, but it's not quite. So I'm sure more will come through because I'm definitely feeling. I'm feeling pulled between the worlds. It gets a little hard to navigate ritual space and talk to you and record this. I'm trying to get better about recording some ritual stuff for you guys too, because my altar is. I feel everything is kind of going in like an upward energetic motion. So we kind of have the ground. Okay. I'm starting to understand how this is starting to fit together. It'll be interesting to work through the rest of the gates now that I kind of have a better idea. So I'm getting a message from Sisera. I'm just trying to manifest all that you desire. Come forth. Not sure what that means. Diamonds, dawn, dust. Don't back down. Never surrender. You know what you want. Have the courage to do it. Don't hold back. Dreams made manifest. Following your heart through the traffic jam of trauma emotions, soul level exhaustion. Go forth. Wow, you just fell out of yourself. Sorry, I'm watching myself split into two. It's really wild. Anyway, I think I think it's time for me to go back to ascension mode because they're pulling me out of my body. They usually kind of like grab me by the crown and go yoink. So imagine, those like weird like amusement like child's toy, the claw thing with all the little stuffed animals. It would be like that. Oh, hi, Moon. Kitty. She likes witchy stuff. She's my little witch. Anyways, we're gonna do the gate closing part of it. Since I did open the first and second gate at the same time, I'm not leaving the gates open. So we are going to go through the fumigation process. I'm probably going to do a little more like fumigation around here. I'm going to be walking around and stuff. So I have a very smelly apartment tonight. Thank you, Sisera. I give you license to depart and go in peace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ouch. This thing is annoying because it's got this, like, why? It's got this stupid pentagram thing in the middle and it doesn't work. It doesn't really, there we go. So, anyways, got my swinging pendulum sensor together. And I have extinguished my own sense. In the name of Satan and Lucifer, I banish all back from whence it came. Go in peace. These gates are now closed, used, and patched over. Tassa, Remy, Laris, Satan, Ave Satanas. Tassa, Remy, Laris, Satan, Ave Satanas. Tassa, Remy, Laris, Satan, Ave Satanas. Renish, Tassa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Lucifer. Renish, Tassa, Uberaka, Biasa, Ikar, Lucifer. So it is done. And on that note, kids, I'm going the fuck to sleep. It's just, this has been a really interesting pathworking process for me, and I've really enjoyed it a lot. So stay tuned. The opening of the third gate will be coming sometime in March. So bye.